most of our thermometers go down to minus 40. You know how, and don't ask whether that's Celsius or Fahrenheit, because guess what? At minus 40, it's the same thing. I can't even imagine that. So yeah, that was interesting also, doing the, seeing what it was like up there. And these guys riding around all these Russian vehicles and stuff, and, meeting the people who live there. And then apparently that was where it was the coldest recorded point ever on the planet, was in this one town that they went to. I can't pronounce it. So there you go. There's a very, very long story of what I was doing. My nose was into YouTube last night, not amateur radio. And on BCG.
Good evening.
Does this work?
Yeah, and he kept saying hello to you, Clark, and maybe you're not hearing him. But I think you knew that. And yeah, YouTube, I use it for, a lot of repairs, like, how did this guy fix that thing, Of course, after that one's over.
Thanks for the host, Giant.
Pops up, it could be related, it could be unrelated, but usually related in some fashion. Maybe just a different brand product or, but yeah, well, just a computer in general could grab you and have you all night.
What's up, Steve?
But yes, well, that means you did a good job. You had fun. But I could swear that we were trying to drum you up. Billy was out there, and I myself, and then. Oh boy, the thunderstorm came by, and it was, man, I had static pretty much steady into the red. I just kept keying up and doing my thing with my little piss-weak station. So it worked out for a while, till dinner, and then I was gone. I had to get up early in the morning, so, I flew out right away. Not like you retired guys. So let's see who else is out there. AC2, CWM, and no one ever comes with money, but, well.
Nice. There was YYQ in there, and apparently he's across town. Oh my God. My business partner is calling. I have to take this call. I'll catch some cool cats in a minute. I don't think it's going to be long. N1 BCG.
KC2CWM, this is Whiskey Alpha 1 Yankee Quebec. Good afternoon.
W1YYK. C? K. C. Yes, okay. Well, now I heard you much better that time. You were a little weak when you first keyed up, but maybe it's the band. I don't know. Richie here on Long Island. How are you?
I'm good, Richie. Nice to meet you. The name is Dan, and I'm across town from Clark. I'm on the Cos-Cob Greenwich border in Greenwich, and I just put up a 240-foot dipole with one wire coming down each side on a ladder line into a MFJ matcher. So I hope you're getting a good signal on me. I put it up in the trees now, so I'm up over 50 feet. Over.
Yeah, okay, well, it appears to be working. I got, you're almost as, this ain't the best receiver anymore. It's a 930 Kenwood, transceiver that I used to receive, but 9, and I think, I can't, I'm going to say, when the band changes, you might be just as strong as Clark. You never can tell. So, but you're doing okay, Dan.
Good evening. Okay, Richie, I think there's other people in here tuning up. Thank you very much. I'm only running 100 watts. You're coming in 20 over from Islip. You got a real good sound coming in here. I'm going to be on the side here and just listen Nice to meet you. WA1YYQ listening.
Good evening. I hear Ken in there. Paul, how are you? WB2HJK.
And that's George. Yeah, HJK George there in Queens. You got Richie here out east end of Long Island, KC2CWM. How are you this happy day? What is it? Happy Day Thursday.
Oh, any day is a happy day for me. And Ken, you're doing fine for 100 watts. I can hear you in Queens, New York. I'm assuming you're pretty far away. So, yeah, let's leave a pause in here, see if Ken comes back. And then, yeah, everything's fine today. Very hot day today, wasn't it? Go ahead, Paul. Oh, Rich, go ahead and take it.
Yeah, all right. No, I didn't hear. I thought you said Ken, but no, Clark. Maybe you meant Clark. He's still on the phone conducting, well, how do you put it? He said business. So, he's doing some business. But anyway, yeah, how's Queens treating you there? You know, I bet you I gotta say, I bet you it's almost back to normal, man. People crowding the streets, taking all their parking spots and making noise, and it's got to be getting close there. Over.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying back to normal, isn't it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't been there yet. You know, we got, like I said, we spoke months ago. We got that one job there in Long Island City, the school right there on, right next to the tunnel, and it's next to the ferry terminal, I guess. And which they just started running, I think, yesterday or the day before. I heard that on the radio. So the ferries are running, water taxis or whatever the heck you want to call them. But you know, that job's almost done. I don't think we have a lot of work there anyway, but we probably most likely need to go back there, but not for much. So for the most part, I'm out of the city. I'm working Nassau County right now, and well, at least I'm working, I guess, you know. But that's the story, George. How is Yeah, I know you chuckled at that, but is it getting to be almost back to normal?
Man, guys, I'm tired. They're running me ragged at work, bro.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Chuckle included. Same routine. Everybody's impatient. Everybody's going anywhere. But
I got tomorrow off, though, so I can just, play radio as much as I want tonight.
Prediction is they're going...
We've been doing 6 a.m. starts, and this place is about an hour away, so I've been getting up early.
A little bit too cold.
Oh, that pizza that I ordered the other night, I still have, half of it. I'm going to be eating that, you know.
Still not out of the woods yet at all. Go ahead.
What?
There's Billy the Kid. What? All right, go ahead, Bill. You know what? I'm going to just check the dinner here, so let me stand by for a minute. I think it's just about ready. You got George out there. I think that was Billy. But and Clark should be back soon. So you guys carry on. KC2CWM.
Yeah, everything's just coming online over here. Biking is settling in. Hopefully I drift right down on frequency. I might drift too low, though. Everything's still cold over here. What? Where'd Clark go? He's probably on a phone call, and then he's going to hear, a bunch of people out here, so he'll just start watching Urbex videos.
Yep, well, I got the dinner bell, so you guys carry on. Catch you later. KC2CWM, clear for now.
Oh, Clark should be back. He was on a phone call, I think. Anyway, take care, Rich. WB2HJK is here.
Yeah, see you later there, Rich. That was weird. Oh, no, it wasn't. We're good.
You comping me okay?
I always hear you fine, George. You got like, you're always strapping in here.
I don't trust that always part, but thank you, appreciate it. I've got a microphone I'm using right now that has an artifact in the audio, like a motorboating. I think it's a bad element, crystal mic, ceramic to be accurate. Can you hear any of that?
Not really. It sounds pretty clean. If you turned on like an amplifier or something, I might be able to hear more nuance, but as far as, what I'm hearing, it sounds good. I wasn't really listening for it, but maybe I'll turn a critical ear on. I just have my little dinky monitoring setup going anyway. I could put you on the Jumbotron out there. I got a big old set of speakers with a really good low frequency response, 12-inch subwoofers, so I can hear all kinds of stuff. If you have like little tiny bit of hum, it'll really present itself in there. I could flip you over onto those things, but I mean, there's no point. You sound good.
No point. You're right. If I sound good, I don't know why I'm hearing what I'm hearing here on a headphone. Whatever, as long as it's not interfering on the output. Thanks, appreciate it. But you sound great. Great audio, by the way. I'm using a modified, mic that had very nasally quality dual-element crystals. So I put a singular ceramic in it. And of course, I didn't do anything special. I just took out the nasal quality of the mic. But it's one of those pill mics. They're very nice looking. No, it's not the very expensive ones. It's the typical low-quality stuff. But as a desk mic, not bad. I'm glad it's behaving itself. Antenna-wise, it's an Isotron for the evening. I can switch over to the NFED if you like and see if there's any better copy. Go ahead.
Yeah, that mic sounds great. It's nice and clean, good frequency response. It sounds good to me. Your SNR on the Isotron is just over 50 dB signal to noise, so very strong signal. If you want to make a comparison, though, that's your relative measurement on the Isotron, so we can see if it goes up or down. That would be fine with me. W2BTK.
Thanks, Billy. I'll switch over and then I got to tune on frequency. I'll be right back. Okay, there she goes, tuned up NFED right now, providing everything's still clear. Tell me how copy. Same old sounds here on my headphones. So, whatever your report is, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Billy.
George, if you didn't even tell me that you switched antennas, I would know, because they're both just about exactly the same SNR over here, right around 50. So they're both doing just fine. You're putting a very respectable signal in my receiver there with both antennas. Now, that's kind of amazing. Man, it just shows that Isotron really works.
And it looks like Ruger right now. It's been tampered with so many times, I'm surprised it's still recognizable. But like anything else, given an opportunity, of course, weather-wise and everything else. By everything else, I think everybody who's married understands that. I have a chance to be able to, shall we say, learn
We'll see you later, and if I don't talk to you, have a great time at the Outer Banks.
So acceptable to near field.
See you later. NJ1Y, W2, CR73.
And that's Clark on it begs for further experimentation. Anyway, that's good. I'm glad at least I have a backup. So, good to know. I recently made a change in the balance on the NFET and let it behavior. WB2 BTK, I think if I got that right, I'm sorry. WB2 BTK.
Yup. No, that's good stuff. Isotron was hanging in there. I don't know. Those are such interesting antennas. Somebody keyed up on top of you while you were talking, so I missed a little bit of that. But hey, that's par for the course out here on 75 meters, I suppose.
You suppose correct. Yeah. Well, like anything else, par for the course, as I would put it. Well, Billy, you sound great. Audio mic, I never asked you. I don't know what you're using for audio, but that vintage gear sounds great.
Well, yeah, I always use the same microphone. It's a cardioid condenser made by Audio Technica, and the model is the 4040. Audio Technica AT4040, and yeah, this vintage gear's hanging in there. It works just fine, but as far as like the audio chain and modulator, it's all, well, it's not vintage. It's modern solid state, low harmonic distortion stuff piped into, a vintage RF deck. So that's how I get away with what I get away with.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, it sounds great. You're 30 over at peaks. Go ahead, Clark. Good evening to you.
I can't think of anything to say.
Well, anyway, I copied what you said earlier when I just got into the shack about YouTube. Boy, that's a whole different universe. I'm learning a lot from a lot of points. Electric bicycles, antennas, adventures. Just so much. It's really something else. As a resource, multi-resource, if you will. Having said that much, I think I put my foot in my mouth. So, N1BCG and the growing tribe here, where propagation is increasing for at least between most of the guys and myself. This is WB2HJK, what's left of me.
Man, George, you came up to almost 65 dB SNR on that, so yeah, propagation is coming up. You gained 15 dB in my receiver. Wow. And Clark, just so you know, they're doing the Clark chant in the chat over here. Like, we want Clark, we want Clark. And like, Clark, Clark, Clark. They're really doing it.
Yeah, last time I checked, they were tearing my statue off the pedestal. I wasn't thrilled about that.
Oh, come on, not these guys. They just want Clark, They're like, oh man, what happened to Clark?
Oh, for Pete's sakes. He got a phone call from his business partner, and then I had to go do other stuff, and then all this talk on 3885 intimidated me away. I feel like I didn't have to do anything. And now it's 6 o'clock, and you know what that means? Yeah, it's putting dinner on the stove time, so I'm going to disappear again.
That's pretty typical. Pretty typical, I gotta say. But all right, well, so you know that everybody's out there chanting, we want Clark, and you're gonna disappear. Wow. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? 6 o'clock, that seems like a good time to identify W2BTK at the top of the hour.
Yes, I am the blue balls of entertainment. I always leave when the crowd gets, cranked up to a climax. I'll be back. Freaking hell. You guys are supposed to be more self-entertaining, you know? You're not supposed to be, like, in tow, you know, and requiring to be dragged around to, you know, excitement to excitement. So, yeah, by the way, you've got Billy, you've got BTK on the case to keep you entertained. So, how much better can you get?
Well, I got a comment.
I
As far as your presence
imagine
here
what it would be.
3885, not
Is it another mic to try?
I consider you a natural resource, as many others I'm sure do.
Damn, George, you just keyed right over Clark, and you won.
Everything's going.
Hey, yeah, well, it's one of those times I won't say thanks, Mom, but it's propagation. But, you know, in a few minutes I'll be disappearing like Clark is. It's amazing, isn't it? Propagation. Damn. Anyway, Clark, go ahead. Have Din Din. I'm going to try to do something likewise here. So, Billy, there'll be probably others piling in here in a few minutes. So, over to you, Bill, and catch you later, hopefully, God willing. Take care.
All right. I still want to know what Clark said. And yeah, I'm sure, you know, there will be people piling in here, as they say. Look at that. My reflected power is very low. I didn't change a damn thing. I guess my antenna has been baking in the sun, and whatever, it burned off all the reflected power. What?
I was complimenting you, Billy. I was saying you were the fun king. You were the fun king of 3885. So what do you call you, Fun King Billy?
Oh my God. That's thanks.
All right, don't let us down.
I'm not gonna. George, did you sign or what? What? I'm not gonna monologue like Clark. I don't do content-rich CQ calls. I just kind of disappear into the woodwork when nothing's going on. I can't do it by myself. I need fuel.
Well, hot air-wise, yeah, I'm full of it too. No problem. I'll come back and well, I was going to sign, but like I can't understand why every time I cook something, it begs for full disclosure to the CDC. I hope I survive this dinner tonight I'm making. Anyway, don't go into the side too far, because there'll be a couple of more piling in here. Some have earlier dinners than others. I watch the clock because, well, at my age I have to. So anyway, that's it for that. Otherwise, you sound great. Whatever the hell you did to the solid state stuff, the modulator sounds great. And that 4040 sounds great. So there you go. Enjoy the view. Hopefully I'll make it later. WB2BTK and company. Lurking. WB2HJK.
All right, George. Well, yeah, whatever you're making, well, yeah, if the CDC gets involved, that's, what? So, good luck, I guess. I'm just having pizza. That's really easy. I don't have to think about it. Just run over the fridge. I just eat it cold. You know, I'm a savage. What can I say? But, if you want to know exactly what the hell I did, I just made a YouTube video about the whole modulator setup with the solid state power amp and how to feed parafinals in a boat anchor with it. You do with any boat anchor you want. The first 6 minutes of the video is me showing all the gear as it sits, and then the last 15 minutes of the video is just me with a pen and paper drawing schematics and doing calculations and showing everybody what the hell you'd have to do to basically take a 4 or 8 ohm solid state power amp and dump it into your Class C finals at high level and plate modulate your boat anchor. So you could check that out. I don't know if you've ever been to my YouTube page.
No, I haven't, but no, I will. Well, after dinner, that is. Thanks.
Yeah, it's in my QRZ.com profile. You just look up W2BTK, and it's somewhere at the top. You see the link for the Twitch feed, which I am, by the way, now live streaming. And then underneath that, there's a link to the YouTube channel, and you just, it was about a week ago, so you look through the videos, and it'll, I think I called it like Shack Tour or something like that. So, check it out if you get bored or something.
Oh, getting bored here in my lifestyle with my environment, it never happens. I know, I guess there's another way of saying I never have any peace, but let's not go there. Anyway, I'll check it out. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it. With that, I'll wave goodbye and hopefully grab a spoon and see if I can survive my dinner tonight. And if not, well, you'll have an update from CDC. WB2HJK. Always experimenting.
Yeah, experimenting with food. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not that adventurous. I just eat cold pizza when I can. And when I can't, well, I don't know. You know what's nice about my new job? They feed me lunch. You know, they don't want everybody going out for lunch or bringing a bunch of food into this place. So they just, like anybody who's a contractor on site, they make you lunch. And they have really good sandwiches, you know. You just go pick them up at the, building that the cafetorium is in, and that's that. It's really cool, because I don't have to pack a lunch. I could wake up like 15 minutes later. That's like gold, man.
You got it made. Catch you later. WB2HJK, bye.
All right, George, I'll catch you later. Oh, boy. Well, I wonder if anybody else is out there. And if they are, I wonder if they'll actually key up and want to talk to me. What?
And why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I was just a question. I was curious. Looks like Clark's on the... He's roped in. I got him on the line. Let's reel him in. Clark. Come in, Clark. Did you make your din-din over there? How's Murphaloops doing?
Yeah. Had to get the hook out of my mouth. Yes, you have me on the line here. What is this? Billy has great signal on the K3 FEF SDR. Oh, this is all Gary comments. Clark needs to feed Murphy. He's been fed. He is fat and happy. Now I just have to get him a call sign name tag, and all right. And then he says Billy's post on QRZ was great. Which post is that, Gary or Billy? Do you know what he's talking about?
Wait, what? I better get on the K3 FEF site and see what the hell this is all about. Let me come up to speed here. I'll be there shortly.
Oh, it's social networking run amok. No, all Gary said is Billy's post on QRZ was great. Oh, Gary, do you mean the video? The video tour? I'll bet that's it, because it got, 18, 19 likes. Oh, yes, he says yes, so that's it.
Yeah, I saw Gary liked that. Well, he actually commented in the thread, like a post or two after I posted that. I saw that.
I gotta find out if Gary actually owns a microphone. Maybe we should set up like a CW QSO Gary. Because we've never heard you on the air. What's up with that? Oh, right, as if he's going to answer. Never mind.
He says he's on 40 meters. I could be on 40 meters. My stuff works there. Seems like my antenna, it should work better than it does on 40 meters because it's almost long enough to be a double ZEP on 40. But it's a little weird, like, or maybe the times when I get on 40 propagation just sucks.
40 I find is good middays, although that's changed because there are people who, your people who swear to 40 being great in the evenings. So, yeah, I guess it's 40 is becoming the magic band. Forget 6. 40 is where it's at if you're a real hipster.
Yo, Steve, thanks for the gift sub, man. You're the best. You are the best, bro.
Okay, I have less than an S0 noise level. Is this receiver working?
Yeah, was I able to move your meter at all? We got gift subs happening in the Twitch chat. This is good stuff.
I can't even sign up.
I still think you should rename your channel. I know, again, Nervous Twitch. Yeah, you're a 25 over, and then you unkey and it goes to 0. Wow, we're having another one of those magnificent static-free nights. About time after the past, week?
What happens if you turn your RF gain up? Hello?
No, you just go into the compression zone. I mean, it becomes unremarkable over S9 because you know how the scale goes 0 to 9, and then that's like 2/3. No, actually, yeah, it's a little over 2/3 of the range of the scale, and then S9 to plus 30 is whatever's left. So it's not really interesting once you get beyond that. But I mean, I can bring it up so that there's noise, but like why? What's this? I sent you a YouTube of me on the net. Oh, well, yeah, that was, okay. All right. Fine. Gary's being a prosecutor here.
And who's the hello station? Hello?
Oh, hello. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Okay, fine. Do you have like call sign? What? I'm only supposed to talk to licensed amateur radio operators. Notice how I said amateur, because that's how I spell it.
Well, it's a French derivative, but yeah, I have a call sign. It's Kilo 2 Zulu Golf Whiskey. I hear you great, but the other station's a little light.
Oh, K2ZGW. Very good. Yeah, I hear both of you guys You're very strong signals in my receive. You're talking about Clark? I don't believe that. Clark straps, man.
Well, it depends where he is. I'm only running 50 watts.
That's why I don't get received there well.
Doing a hell of a job for 50 watts. Where are you located? I'm in Jersey, and Clark is in Connecticut.
Well, I'm in southern New Jersey, about 8 miles southeast of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got kind of like a laser beam down south for whatever reason from this location. So I'm not surprised. Clark, how well are you hearing Zulu Golf Whiskey, Mr. ZGW?
Well, since he doesn't hear me well, I don't hear him at all.
Okay, fine.
See, it's that whole goose and gander signal report thing.
Yeah, well, I hear him. He's 5'9", but there's a lot of noise down here. I'll let you guys go. I was talking to Frank, W2R, earlier on digital.
And I figured he might be up here, and he was on the other one, so I'll say 73, and nice to see you there on the whatever it is, the live feed. I can't sign up for some reason, but that's it.
You can't sign up? Well, Twitch is weird like that, but you don't really have to sign up to go on it. You should be able to just look at it, but if you want to go into like the chat and do that stuff, yeah, you need an account, but you should be able to just load the page and see the feed there.
Yeah, I see the feed. I just can't sign up. They won't accept my name or any name.
Maybe there's like a TSA hold on you. Who knows?
Yeah, that's possible.
Hey, we got another tech. Came over from the K3FEF. Well, he's studying to become a technician class radio operator. But the virus has pushed his test back. So we're gonna hook him up with some remote testing links because one of my moderators in the chat knows all about that. He did remote testing. His dad did remote testing, and hey, we got this. So how about that? Clark, what happened? Are you eating your dinner?
Texting a friend.
Oh, what? So you don't want to talk to your friends on the radio because you're texting?
They're in California.
Can't you, like, put up a... Well, you have mostly a vertical antenna. I bet you can talk to California.
It's 1/3 vertical and 2/3 horizontal. You know what? Oh, wow, look at this. Someone just posted on Facebook. This is a truism. New York City just defunded the very people that ran into the burning towers on 9/11. Think about it. Yepper.
Wait, what?
Meaning the New York City took $1 billion out of the New York Police Department budget for not 2020, but because their fiscal year is halfway through, for starting yesterday, going forward for a year.
That doesn't seem like a great idea. I wonder why.
Well, there's no crime in New York, but it's funny because the first day that was announced, basically yesterday, the graffiti artist went nuts. New York City looked like it did in the 70s. It was a real flashback.
Yeah, well, that's a strong message to send.
That's right. They should be doing that on amateur radio instead if they really want to get the message out.
Honestly, doing graffiti probably gets more eyeballs on your stuff than doing ham radio, but shh, don't tell anybody that.
I don't know. From what I can tell here, being a Twitch media mogul, you're getting more response than they do on, Fox News.
Well, sorta. I don't know. I still think that I have very relatively low viewership compared to like other ham radio things, but the viewers, you know what? They're not viewers. I've created a community here, and it's tight knit, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, even tons of views.
Wow, I think Jim Jones said that back in the day. But all right, very good. So, well, you know what? Then what you need is like a Fred Silverman. Jeff out there is laughing. To get your channel fixed up, we need good programming, and then get it so that you can build up a real audience. We'll make the W2BTK Twitch channel from worst to first. We'll do it in one book. A book is 3 months. How about it?
What?
All right, I will go into detail off the air. All right, N1 BCG. Good evening, everyone.
It's just me and you out here on the air, unless you're talking to everybody.
I am. I'm addressing the disciples of 3885, the denizens of the frequency. The multitude who sit and putter about their ham shacks on a daily basis with the radio locked in and the knob ripped off to Live 85, because they know this is the fun spot, the one spot where the Fun King hangs out. That's you. So, when you key up on 3885, you have a responsibility on your shoulders, unlike that of any other amateur radio operator on any other frequency. Because on 3885, double sideband, fully carriered AM, you're not just reaching the northeast of the United States. You're reaching the multitude around the globe on the internet via the W2PHL live stream on YouTube, the W2BTK Twitchy feed, and God knows what other SDRs that are locked in to 3885 AM. It's a responsibility that goes well beyond just the person who you think is the only one there talking to you. You truly address the masses. That's why this is a big deal.
That's right, the Big 8-5 on your AM dial.
Hey, this is the happening spot, so you can forget the traffic and weather together stations. 3885 is where conversation comes home to roost.
It was sunny today. 94 degrees outside. And what type of antenna system are you running?
That's right. If you want to have a pity party and have a competition for who's got more ailments, there are plenty of frequencies out there where you can impress. Actually, it really is a competition. People, contesters. Let's talk about a whole different kind of contesters. Ham radio operators who get on the air, and the first thing they do is they introduce their ailments to you. It's sort of like I'm better than you contest because I've got more problems. And it's not hard to find QSOs where that's all the rage. One person says he's got achy joints, and that's it. The lid comes off the topics. The next person says, yeah, well, I have achy joints, and I'll raise you 12 pills a day. And then someone else will chime in and start talking about their, debilitating ailment. It just goes on. It just goes on. Everybody's got issues, and for whatever reason, ham radio is the place to take your spleen, slice it open, and let it all pour out, because there's always an interested listener. I'm having trouble saying that.
Wait, who is saying this? They've got 80 joints and 12 pills?
I see what you did there.
Yo, yeah, sometimes I do that. It's been a while since I've done that, and I think I'm starting to have clarity. I don't know, but I do drink a lot of wine now.
That'll clear you up. Now listen, just some advice. Don't get too experimental with wine, because if anyone orders you, or if anyone offers you a white wine spritzer, it's kind of effeminate. You could pass on that.
Yeah, I'm not into any of that. But if it's not like deep, dark red stuff, I don't want to drink it, you know? It's just not my bag, you know? Although I guess sometimes it comes in a bag, but that stuff gives you a hangover. Or like what, they sell those big jugs of like Carlo Rossi. That's no good either. I'm really enjoying my Cabernet though. It's velvety and smooth. I'm not drinking it yet, but I will be later on.
Oh yeah, you've got the, well, I mean, I'm a Cabernet. I used to do the Merlot thing constantly. I did that for years, and I jumped over to Cabernet. I almost said Cabaret. Oh my gosh, yes. And then you've got the blends. There are a couple of blends I'm okay with. That reminiscing taste, the Merlot Cabernet blends, and then you've got your rosés and that. But the key though is to be able to match them up with your meal. I find that's a great skill, but you really have to have a you have to go to a wine tasting event to be, because the thing is it's very hard to try a different wine every so often, because then you don't remember how it compares to other things. And I never understood why wine tastings were meaningful until I tried it out and I realized, oh no, this is good, because you're able to compare things side by side, so you don't have that time where you sort of like forget. And there's a lot of emphasis on writing down. You have to use paper and pencils to write stuff down so you can take notes. But the which of course the wineries like, because they want you to remember their wine. But I remember going to a wine tasting on Nantucket a couple of years ago. A friend of mine wanted me to come up there and pick him up. He needed a flight back. So flew into Nantucket, and his wife picked me up, and she said, well, yeah, Tom is really looking forward to getting back tonight. He's at work right now, but I'll drop you off there, and he's expecting you. I said, oh, that's great. So she drops me off downtown, and there was this mob scene of people. There was some major event going on in this outdoor tented area. And I said, what's this? And she said, oh, well, Tom's in there. He's working one of the booths. You'll probably run into him. Just wander around a bit. But it turned out to be which is famous, the Nantucket wine tasting event in the summer. And as I'm walking in there, I've got every winery representative coming up to me saying, oh, try this. They're all, handing you the plastic glasses. I'm like, oh my God, I'm wearing my airport badge, the pass and stuff, the ID thing. It's like, I can't drink that. Can you have any idea what it'd be like to go to a wine tasting event where you love red wine? You've got all these top wineries handing you glasses of wine to try, and you can't touch a single one. Frustrating as hell. And on BCG.
Oh man, yeah, that wouldn't be good. But on that topic, I don't know if you like how much you watch other stuff on YouTube besides Urbex videos, but that was a really funny one I saw where these kids, they go on a wine tasting tour and they just they wreck the joint. Like, they're chugging the wine, like, within, like, the first hour. They're all hammered, and they're just buying tons of bottles of wine, and they're like, taking them away. Like, no, you kid, oh, you paid for that? Oh, geez. Like, and they're just, like, slamming the bottles of wine. They're all wearing white, right? Like, white shirt, white pants, and, like, they're just covered in, like, wine, and the people are complaining and this and that, and, Well, it was like a really nasty thing to do, but they were having fun, and it made for good YouTube, I would say. W2BTK, because we have to do that every 10 minutes, Clark.
Yep, the joy of frequency shift keying IDing. Well, I can see how that would spoil things. I mean, that would, having a couple of, your age type millennials in there getting stupid-faced drunk at a wine tasting event, which is supposed to be serious, and they're just there wasting it. Because, once you lose your facilities and you can no longer judge what they're supposed to be sipping water between these tastes. They're supposed to be not polluting their palates. They're supposed to be, consciously judging these wines. So for them to sit there and, what did they do? They found bottles of wine, they bought them, and then they just popped the corks and started slugging them down and got all stupid. Yeah, that's I could see that for the regular patrons of a wine event to be about as distasteful as finding a toenail in a glass of wine.
Well, not only that, I mean, that's like how they got all hammered and stuff, but like during like the tasting thing, they're pouring, these really nice like wines that they're obviously like really proud of, and they're like telling them about them, like, well, this one is blah 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 blah, and they like pour them like a quarter of a glass, and the dude like just like before he's even done pouring it, like as the bottle like comes off the glass, he just throws it back and slugs it and puts it back down, and is like, yeah, like more, or like goes to the next one, and then they pour it, and they're like trying to tell him about it, and he's just like, go, it's awful, but it's good internet. I gotta say, it's very entertaining to watch.
Well, it would be hard to get liquored up that way, because when they give you the glasses of wine to taste, they're not exactly filling it. I mean, that defeats the purpose. They'll give you, what isn't a wine tasting glass? It's maybe 2 tablespoons or something like that. I mean, it's like just enough for 2 sips, and then you're done. So I don't know. You'd have to go to a lot of booths to get stupid face with that amount of alcohol.
Yeah, but like I said, they were like buying the bottles of wine, like, oh, like because you can try it and buy it, so they would just like buy all these bottles of wine and like drink them quickly. Like, I'm talking like 45 seconds, like go, and like they did that several times, each of them.
I remember having an entire bottle of wine. That was the Bubble Girl night. Yes, up at was it Emerson in upstate New York. Bubble Girl and I, we managed to knock down a bottle of wine, or was it 2? No, there's no way it was 2 bottles. Yeah, it was 1 bottle each, because it was ridiculously expensive. But it was one of those things where it's like, all right, this dinner is going to be like multi-hundreds of dollars. So do you get upset over it, or do you just get, liquored up and whatever happens, happens? And I chose option B.
Yeah, well, at least it wasn't the white rum, right? What if they had like a white rum tasting contest or festival? What then?
My first experience with white rum was in Jamaica at Sandals. Which one was it? Sandals. They're blurring together. Dan. I don't remember. Well, anyway, so, wait a minute, it was in St. Lucia. Holy crap, no wonder I couldn't remember where it was in Jamaica. No, it was white rum, and I think it was in Jamaica. Yeah, well, anyway, see, that just shows you what that night was like. And we had our we had our promotions group up. We had a radio station down. They were going to promote the resort and exchange the radio station and give away trips on the air. Of course, I put this together, so I got to go. And so I remember we got there, and while we're waiting for our room assignments, the waiter would come over, white glove service, because this is an all-inclusive resort. Sandals, top-notch. And he was asking what everybody wanted, and like the girls were ordering like a fruit punch or rum punch or whatever, and then guys were ordering the Red Stripe beer because Red Stripe Jamaican beer. And I said, "Do you guys have white rum?" And the guy paused and his eyes got wide, and he goes, "Well, we do. You want that?" And I said, "I know." And I could tell he was like, you got to be careful. I said, "I know. It's like the same stuff NASA uses for putting rockets into space." I said, "Yeah, but I know what I'm getting into." And he goes, "Okay." So he comes back and he hands out the punches, the rum punches, the Red Stripe beers, and then there was the white rum, the Jamaican white rum, and that was delivered to me specifically because they wanted to make sure that the smart ass who ordered it was the smart ass who got it, because you don't want to just hand that to anybody. And I remember taking a tiny sip of Jamaican white rum, and it was apparent from the quarter teaspoon that I took, this stuff is toxic. And Billy, that glass that he gave me at orientation as we were waiting to get our room assignments, I still had with me when we sat down to dinner. That is what Jamaican white rum is all about. On BCG.
Yeah, like you take a sip and go, huh. I still have yet to try that stuff. I should go to Jamaica just for the white rum and, make sure that I have someone there to tell me, like, what happened.
Yeah, you want to have somebody with a GoPro because you'll need the recording.
Yeah, the real BTK will come out. You think I speak freely now? Wow. Oh, remember that time? I think I brought this up recently when it was my foreman's birthday and we went out drinking afterwards, and then I made it home and got on the radio, and oh boy, there's a recording of that, and I was saying stuff that night, man. I think there might have been like 2 or 3 F-bombs, just like completely by accident. Like I had no idea. Like I even said it, and everyone was just like, what?
That's why we call you the Fun King. What do you mean your 40th birthday?
What? No way. I'm going to have my 35th birthday pretty soon in August. This dude in the chat, well, I guess he's a licensed ham, so I can... Well, no, I'm allowed to read stuff that I'm seeing in chat. He said, y'all ought to try Brazilian or Argentinian cacacha? How do you say that? It must be strong stuff if he's mentioning it during, like, the white rum discussion.
I don't know. I haven't heard of it, but, once you get out of the U.S., once you get into, like, the Caribbean and South America, you get into into a whole new zone of alcoholic content, because we're really, kind of soft-footed up here. They don't dare sell that kind of stuff up here because we can't handle it. But in the Caribbean, the 2 things in the Caribbean. Number 1, the food is like ultra spicy. I mean, it's amazingly good. But I remember having what was it? Pork patties, jerk pork patty. No, what was it? Anyway, there were like pork patties, and it looked like a really great dinner. And one of the guys in our group was he said the waiter asked him how he wanted it, and he said he wanted it really spicy. And the waiter said, well, are you sure? Because we can make it like the way we would serve the locals, but not the guests. And he goes, oh, yeah, totally. And I said, are you this guy's name was Tom. I said, are you sure you want it like that? Because and he goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. And he told the waiter, tell the chef, make mine the way. Oh, medallions. Jerk pork medallions. That's what it was. Jerk pork medallions. And by the way, folks, jerk is a method of cooking where meat is slow roasted over a bed of pimento wood. So, and there's jerk seasoning, but that's literally jerk. Yes, is slow cooking over pimento wood. See, it's amazing what you learn on 3885. Anyway, and then they got to me. The waiter got to me, and he said, "What would you like?" I said, "Well, I'd also like the jerk pork medallions." And he said, "How would you like it?" And everyone's looking at me. I said, "I'll have it the same way as Tom." And there was like this hush at the table. And Tom's wife goes, "Tom wins spicy food eating contest, so he's okay with that. Are you sure?" And I don't eat spicy food. I'm like, "Oh yeah," because I had been into the White Rum. No, I had to try it. I said, "Yeah, same thing. Tell the chef, make it the way, quote, Mama used to make it." I want to try it. I don't want to have the Americano guest watered down. I want to have it the real Jamaican way. I want to experience the culture here. Well, there. Well, it showed up, and I remember the plate when they. Oh yeah, everyone. There were about 10 people at our table when they brought the dinners out. The waiters were handing everybody their putting the plates down, and then the chef himself came out. The chef himself, not a waiter, the chef had 2 plates in his hand. One each was for Tom and one was for me. And I told him, I said, "Wow, you brought it out yourself? Or you ran out of waiters?" He said, "No. By policy, we wanted to make sure that I knew he was going to say dumbasses, but the guests who ordered these were the right ones who got it." It's like, oh, here we go. And I remember as the plate went past my face, just the spicy aroma made my eyes water, and I'm thinking, I'm screwed. That plate just went by my face, and my eyes are already watering, and my nose is running. I haven't even tasted it yet. So everyone starts to dig in, and I'm sort of like slowly putting a napkin on my lap, and I'm looking over at Tom, who's sitting at the other end of the table, to see his reaction. And he cuts into his jerk pork medallions, and I'm watching. It was like slow motion. Brings it up, pops it in his mouth. He takes a couple of chews, and he looks up, and his eyes bulge out. And I'm like, oh my God. And he shakes his head, grabs a glass of water, slugs down a drink, and goes, whoa. And I'm thinking, I am screwed. That was the champion hot, spicy food eater, and he just reacted like that. Now it's my turn. Yes, that was some dinner, folks. And one BCG.
Yeah, but when it's so hot like that you can't even taste anything, like, what's the point? I really like hot, spicy food, but if it's just like raw heat, it's not for me. Like, I can eat like, my neighbor was growing habanero peppers, and I would just pop those. I would eat them because I think they taste good. They're really hot, but they have a lot of flavor, But just like straight heat, nah. That's pointless, unless you're trying to impress somebody, but it's still stupid. I don't know. I thought that, like, the jerk style cooking was like just like they basically like burn it to a crisp. It's like, what did you do that for, you jerk? No, I'm just kidding. That stuff's pretty good. I've had, like, they have like the jerk this and that at these restaurants, but I doubt it's like the real deal, like you would get the real stuff. I have never really tried that, but there's this dude N0SSC in the chat here. He's another ham, my age. He's extra class, and he knows all about booze, man. He was talking about. He said that other stuff was pronounced kasasha or something, and then he's talking about some other type of vodka that it's hard to pronounce. Zubrovka, something like that. I don't know, but hey, there's other like my age type operators out there. Check it out. And he was like surprised to hear this conversation that wasn't like,
Oh yeah, well, it was very hot today, so I had several glasses of water, and then I got on my radio. By the way, the antenna that I'm running over here is
he's digging it. So how about that, Clark? W2BTK.
If you want to get people interested in this hobby, there's got to be discussions other than ailments, aches and pains, joint issues, and stuff like that. If you have people having a normal conversation, and then on top of that, as a bonus, something even remotely interesting, I'm not saying this is, but just something other than the aches and pains net, then you have a shot at it. Then people might actually say, you know what, this is actually okay. I might study for getting my license, because I'd be fine with having this sort of group of friends spread out over hundreds of miles and hang out each night and just talk about whatever. Because it gets really old to talk. Well, because you can't relate to that. You can't relate to ailments. I mean, if you're going to be like that and you can relate to it, that's great. You're in good company. 70 years old, 70. That's the average age of ham radio operators. 70. Can you imagine that? Which is fine. But if you want to have water flowing into the pond so that it doesn't just completely drain out and dry up, you need to do stuff which other people are going to be interested in. And thus, you need to have varied discussions. So that's what this is about. They make the jerk seasoning, because obviously, literally, jerk cooking, pimento wood, and all that stuff is very impractical unless you're doing like a beachside barbecue. Oh, I love that now. So what they do is instead you can get jerk sauces with the seasoning, which sort of replicates that. So that does it. I remember. Speaking of jerk, so we were interviewing the head chef for the resort one morning on the air, and we were talking. The morning guy was saying, so explain this process of jerk cooking, because we saw last night on the menu there was jerk this, jerk that. Explain this whole jerking concept, and I'm tensing up because I'm thinking, oh my God, my phone's gonna ring. It's going to be the radio station, like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, here we go. And the chef, of course, you're Jamaica. This is not a crazy term. It's not what you think. So he was going on like, oh yeah, we've got all kinds of dishes. We've got jerk beef, jerk pork, jerk fish, jerk chicken. And the morning guy was like, oh yeah, we had the jerk pork last night. He goes, oh yeah, that's one of our specialties. But for people who are into dining and the culinary oriented guests, we actually have cooking classes where we explain how to jerk your meat correctly. At this point, the morning guy and I were looking at each other like, oh boy, we're going to be hearing about this, because this is all live on the air back in Connecticut. This is a morning show on the radio station. So it's like, yeah, how many people are driving off the road now? And so the morning guy is like, oh, well, so what sort of things would you then jerk? And the chef is just, he doesn't miss a beat. So, oh, yeah, we'll show you how to properly jerk beef, jerk pork, jerk fish. We'll show you how to jerk chicken. And the morning's like, jerk chicken. He goes, yeah, man, jerk chicken. A fine thing to do. Sin, we'll show you how to jerk all kind of meat. Whatever meat you got, sir, we'll show you how to jerk it. And at that point, Interview over. My phone rings. It's the manager of the radio station, and she's having a royal cow. What the hell are you guys talking about on the air? The phones are going nuts here. It's like, yeah, we stayed away from that topic on the air after that. Hey, it was a legit topic, right? Live broadcast from Jamaica. Grow up, people. And when BCG.
Dude, yeah, you can say that on the air, can't you? Like, if you're just talking about, like, jerking your meat, like jerk beef or whatever, or, like, jerking your chicken, if you're talking about cooking, like, why wouldn't you be able to say that on the radio, you know? And if it's in context, like you're actually talking about food, like who would bat an eye at that? Oh, God.
They found a chef next to his treadmill.
Hello, Dave.
Hello. No more hot buttered soul.
All right, Dad's here to straighten us all out.
No, he knows where to come to have fun. He wants to hang out with Clark. I know. He's the one who started the "We Want Clark" chant.
That's right. I invented that, Clark. Just remember that.
Yeah, but Billy is the official 3885 Fun King. We call him Fun King Billy.
See that?
Dave's letting it soak in like jerk seasoning.
Oh, man, I just ate a fresh tomato, some fresh lettuce, and I'm just sitting here digging it.
Oh, Dave. They don't want us to, like, bring our own food. Like, we're allowed to bring food, but they, like, frown upon us bringing food on site, and they frown upon us, like, leaving for lunchtime and coming back. So they give us sandwiches every day at work, and they're, like, really good. The tomatoes are so fresh. I don't know where the hell they get them, but it's, like, it's awesome. I don't have to pack a lunch, and you get, like, good sandwich every day.
Well, that's very nice. That's great. Excellent. Glad to hear some positive stuff happening on planet Earth, because you don't get to hear that all the time.
Yeah, no, it's not bad, but they have all kinds of goofy rules. Like, you're not allowed to bring water into the building, or like you can't bring an open water in there, and you're not allowed to, like, leave water around. Like, they're like really freaked out about people, like, eating stuff or drinking anything, or, like, you know, they don't want us there in the first place. But they make us lunch.
Well, that's good, man. You know, maybe you'll put on a few pounds.
Yeah, maybe. They had roast beef yesterday, turkey today, and they don't skimp. I mean, they load the things. You get it. The turkey sandwich I got today had, I mean, it was a solid, like, inch thick of turkey, and then the really fresh tomato, all that goodness. And when people don't come to work, like, they still make them the sandwiches. Like, whoever is, like, on your list for the contractor, they just make it all. So there's always, like, extra stuff.
Wow, that's really nice. Are you paralyzed after eating all that lunch?
A little bit, but we've been skipping breaks, so, you know, like, that's it. That's our, like, little short break, and we don't even take a full lunch, because, like, it's not supposed to count. We've been getting out an hour early because we work through all our breaks, but, like, you know, we'll go down there and get our sandwiches and just, like, eat them, and then, like, not sit around after. Just, like, however long it takes you to eat your sandwich, like, you just eat it and go back to work. So I don't really have time to, like, get that effect. Like, you eat it and you go.
Gotcha. Great. I can see Clark on my scope here getting away.
No, I'm roped into this studio. Sorry, no such luck.
All right, well, back to the pork. W2VW.
Really? Are you setting up a tent in New York?
I'm not doing anything in New York, thank you. It's not looking very good there lately.
Looks kind of 1970s, doesn't it?
Worse.
Hard to imagine.
What? So, Dave, I turned off my reverb today, and everybody says my audio sounds great.
I think your audio sounds great almost all the time you're on, but some people might not care for the reverb. I don't know. For a long time you had it on and you couldn't really even hear it, and then you figured out how to goose it a little bit more. And now I hear the difference.
Yeah, I lose a little bit average level when I have that reverb in for some reason or another. I don't know. Maybe it just it screws with all the dynamics processing and stuff. Hey, look, I just turned it on. Yeah! Hello? Hello? Yeah, see, look, the scope pattern totally changed. I don't have as much modulation.
Yeah. I know that the really cheesy, like the DSP 2024, those things, even when you put them in bypass, they're not really in bypass. They change levels, and they're kind of cheesy. It sounds like most of your wet is only on the S's and T's, though, which is a good way to do it.
It's W2 Beatles K.
Yeah. Fun King BTK, as Clark says. No, I have it totally set up like that as best that I could. There's still, I think the roll-off's really high. It doesn't affect any frequencies below 500 hertz, but anything above 500 gets a little bit, and then it's I think there's 2 channels of reverb going on at once, and I have the highs they have a much longer reverb tail on them, and then the mid stuff is really, really short reverb tail. I just switched it back in, and if I yell a little bit in my mic, oh look, oh gosh, I heard it.
Yeah, it sounds fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Static crashes aren't too bad here yet.
No, not at all. And Clark, there's another dude Connor's age here in the chat who wants to get the tech.
Oh, really? So they're inspired by all of this nonsense, this audio hooliganism?
Perhaps. I don't know. But he says he's made his own antennas before. So, that's the first step, you know?
If you make it back off the roof and you don't get hurt, yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah, just don't climb the roof with inline skates on.
I was going to talk about all the CB Radio Shack antennas from the 70s, but I started to get into that, and then we got into a much better conversation last time.
Hey, I can talk about that. In fact, I've got just one of those, the 5/8 wave. Remember in the catalogs, the good, better, best? I ended up getting the better one. Yep, 5/8 wave, and worked great.
Yeah, I had one of those too for a long time, and I never burnt it up because I didn't have anything to burn it up with. But if I did, I would have.
I heard somebody say once that the Sirius Gain Blaster outperforms any 5/8 wave antenna ever.
What you need is a Wilson. What was it? The Wilson Super Laser 400. How's that for a throwback to the 70s?
There was a guy in my area who had a CB shop, and he had one of those. And he landed up, I think it was his son that ended up getting popped for selling converter chips or converted converters that were perverted. He got in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. But he had one of those things. And looking at it, if you look at the pictures of them, it's a real waste of material and wind load because they don't maximize it for forward gain. Same thing with the Moonraker 4. The spacing on it, it gives you a wow factor for front to back on receive, but you're throwing away forward gain.
I still want to see like the laboratory Stereo Gain Blaster versus Radio Shack 5/8 testing. You know, somebody should fund that.
Yeah, that would have been something. W2VW. That would have been something, but the guy didn't want to put his money where his mouth is, and for good reason. So, Clark, did you ever get to break your 5/8 wave antenna?
Clark.
Hey, Clark. Please stand by. Clark will be back in a minute. We'll be back with more of The Clark Show.
Yeah, The Clark Show. I don't know. Why does Clark disappear like that? What's it? He's either watching Urbex videos, firing off work emails, talking to his friends on California via text, or making dinner. But he already did 2 of those things while on the air so far. So he's either checking email or watching Urbex videos. But why? You know, we're out here on the Big 8.5. I've drifted down below the Big 8.5. Perhaps I should, zero beat?
That was a forced belch. And secondly, I just walked back into the room. What's the problem?
We were talking about Radio Shack products. How could you possibly walk out of the room?
Oh, I heard you, droning on about something about the antenna. It's like, yeah, okay. And it just seemed like a good time to take an intermission.
Somebody who's like super on frequency, talk for a sec. I gotta walk in the other room and zero beat.
I'm always up for a beating, which happens quite often on this frequency. Oh, hello, Billy Twitch viewers. Yes, this is N1BCG taking over the Twitch channel. So, let's see, what is it called? Amateur radio? Anyway, I'm starting a petition now to have Billy change the name of his Switch channel to Nervous Twitch. How about it? Yep, you can use PayPal, GoFundMe, some of the other Pantheon, Raytheon, whatever, to raise money to enable this change to happen. But I think it's well worth it. So there you go. I'll bet Billy's back.
I'm thinking about starting up a stream and calling it AM Sucks.
You really want to have his head spin off, don't you?
Clark, you're too strong. I couldn't hear my oscillator over you. What the hell?
I've been at the AM Gangsta Gym since it reopened.
Dang. Well, I'm a little closer on frequency now. I'm only a little bit low. And what was that about AM Sucks? What?
Well, I said I was thinking about starting a stream that says AM Facebook Sucks. Did you get that clearly? AM Facebook Sucks.
Oh, AM Facebook Sucks. Yeah. No, I would wholeheartedly support that stream. I would subscribe for 6 months.
Well, if I do it, it's going to be named AM Facebook Sucks. If I do it.
I really think you should, because it's true. AM Facebook sucks, you know? Real AM, like the kind where you got a transmitter and an antenna, perhaps both of which you built or modified or worked on or like did something with, and then get on the air and talk to people via RF. Like that kind of AM is good. And yeah, the Facebook AM sucks because it's all just people who can't do that.
Boy, you guys are ruthless.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Clark? And I purposely didn't answer somebody in their little comments because I figure that he's taking time off at work and wasting my tax dollars to answer it. So maybe tomorrow, because after tomorrow will be the weekend. I don't want to see my tax dollars used to, insult myself.
What?
If you cruise around and look at that one guy on the internet, it seems like he's got an obsession with fire and guns and destruction and stuff. I mean, yeah.
Seems like the kind of guy who would be mean to cats, and I'm not down with that.
You know, I'll just bet you that somewhere along the line that some innocent little fuzzball has been the receiver of his wrath because he had a bad day at work or something or whatever, or a road rage incident. I'm sure of it.
My little fuzzball's over there chillaxing so hard by the window, being such a good kitty, I must turn on the kitty cam. That's right, the kitty cam. People who are mean to cats are not good. That needs to end. Everybody needs to be nice to cats, okay?
W2VW.
W2BTK. Hey, Clark.
What, as if on a moment's notice I'm going to have something to say? It doesn't work like that.
I was just saying hi. Jeez, and bite my head off.
Well, it's like someone going up to someone and say, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, be funny. It's like that. It doesn't happen.
And people on the air who have to be funny for 4 hours say really stupid stuff that gets them fired.
Darn right.
Stupid stuff insurance for those people.
Yeah, well, Boo Boo just sleeps through it all.
You got a weird, I'm looking at that, and the way the light is, you can't tell what you're looking at. Like, I can see ears, and I can see, I guess it's her fur moving around, but, yeah.
There, I brightened it up. I let a little more light into the lens there, but it's kind of like overexposed now. I don't know. Running a kitty cam is hard work. You can't always get it right, There's a lot of stuff going on over here.
Yeah, it looks like you're shooting into some light. That's not an easy task, as you said.
Yeah, but she's sleeping, and it's really cute, I hope people appreciate the kitty cam. We need a Murph cam. I would like to know, like, what's going on with the Murph man, Would you think he'd be okay with, being out there on the interwebs?
Hang on, let me check. Do you want to be on What? Oh, okay. I'll let him know. He says he wants an agent first.
Gotham's been, I think Gotham's been heard in over 20 countries, Billy.
That doesn't surprise me. Doesn't Gotham like get kind of vocal sometimes when you're on the radio? I think I've even heard Gotham on the radio.
Yeah, well, she used to. Yeah, she's slowing down. But yep, she used to want to get on the air and look at her waveform.
I bet you could make Boo Boo turn around. You're pretty good at that. She usually responds to when you do the cat stuff. Oh, her ear just twitched a little bit.
I saw that. All I got was an ear twitch. Wait a minute.
Wow, sounds just like Morris the cat.
Is that the prenet?
I don't know, Dad. Sounded like some rambling going on there. Way off in the distance, some guy with a corn cob pipe doing something. I wonder what they put in them.
Oh, I don't know, but I reckon, I guess they're not hearing us. I wonder where this guy is. I could check the web SDRs to see how well our signals are propagating down that way. So I don't have to wonder, if they're hearing us or not. I can just go find out. That's weird. Let's see what happens with this. It's being well documented. A spectral display, waterfall, and extra IF information on the recording. So let's see where this goes. I have a documented QSO that has been going on for 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 30 seconds at this time.
Well, it's always nice to have documentation when somebody decides that they think that they're going to make a big deal about something that they're doing that's wrong, or try to make it look right. Because they've gotten away with that in the past in their lives, apparently, or they don't have anything better to do. So yeah, the more the merrier. This is the very same crap that we used to get from slop buckets here all the time. That every tactic is the same, only these guys are on AM. They might as well be slop buckets because they behave like slop buckets.
Yeah.
Wow, it's Edward G. Robinson.
What?
We're appreciating our slop buckets, see?
Exactly.
Ah, yeah. That's funny behavior, Dave, I gotta say, I wonder, adults on the radio to behave like that. I wonder where they learned it. Or maybe they made it up themselves.
Once. I guess that's not working hard. I should shut up.
Crap, I doubled with you, but I'm very interested in what you just said.
You'll have to catch it on the rerun.
I can't. When I key up, that's it. It's all I get on the recording.
Yeah, and when I key up, I can't hear you. What's wrong here?
Well, you should use phones. Not like AM phone, but like iPhone.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to plug my headphones into my key jack here. Speaking of plugging the mic into the key jack, have you heard from Connor recently?
No, not since like field day when he tried to crash into my pileup and I didn't work him. I feel bad about that.
Yeah, well, from his point of view, it sounds like you're trying to, it took me 5 or 6 times, and he had a different call. I heard him live, and I think I heard it again in the recording. I listened to that more than once while I was picking weeds in the garden.
Weed in the garden?
Not weeds. Crabgrass, poison ivy. These things, dandelions, stuff that I don't even know what it is. in millimeters.
Is that heavy breather?
I don't know. Is it 10 dB weaker than me?
Just about.
It could be.
I have to jack my mic gain up to be able to do that. Like, I could just breathe next to my mic, but it doesn't modulate my radio. Does that mean that my audio settings are not properly tuned?
Not to me, but I mean, if that's the effect you want and you're not getting it, then, you know, you've got to make that call.
How do I make my S's and T's crappier? Do you think I could do it with like a really, really sharp, corner frequency at around 5K?
Yeah, well, what you need to do is spend more money on audio processing. You've got to spend lots and lots of money on it, and then spit into the mic.
Oh, dude, I see. I've been doing this wrong. Although the processor that I run is a little pricey. I bought it back in the day, and I was like, you know what? I'm not buying no Yahoo or ICOM or none of that malarkey. I'm going to get me an audio processor.
Well, you did okay with it. It's very inspirational, and when they start selling them for $100, I might even get one.
It'll probably be a while, man, but I think these things retailed back in like 2014 for like $3,000 or whatever, because like they were supposed to be bought by radio stations, not like people, like real people. But you know, you can find them used for like a little less than half that, which would be, you know, about what you would spend if you want to go out and get yourself a fine business rice box. So I was like, I don't want no rice box, man. I get an audio processor.
What happened to the Phase Blaster audio processor, Clark?
What?
The thing you were working on there with what's his name there, Maxwell.
He had a shipment of parts that he was waiting for. I don't know what the status of that is, but the final board layout, based on what we have now out, is supposed to be submitted to the circuit board company, and then when that gets back, then we're ready for the final release.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. Well, I hope you guys land up like selling 100,000 of them. And if you want, you know, for $5 an hour, I can answer the phone for people when they can't figure out how to make them work.
Well, I'm hoping that the website will be refined to the point where it'll make it obvious. But, you know, even Heathkit's award-winning manuals have their detractors. But I also hope that a lot of people pick them up, because Rick is into this for a lot of money. I told him that you know, everything was going to go to him until he gets paid back, and it's going to be, unfortunately, a while before that happens. But, you know, he goes, well, I'm retired and I've got the time. It's like, yeah, but... So it's about making it right with him first, and then after that, we'll see what happens.
You know, you got yourself a class act there and a legacy ham operator, and there aren't many of those around, so good for you. That's great.
It was a fortuitous get-together, kind of like, you know, peanut butter and chocolate with Rhesus, because he was working on that bandwidth filter, and I had a design for compression and limiting and all that, but I needed to have a low-pass filter. And then when I found out about his continuously variable, sharp cutoff bandwidth filter. It's like, that's fantastic. It's exactly what I need. And, that started us working together. I guess that was about 2 years ago.
Clark, you got to come up with, you got the Max, right? Well, now that this, YL stuff's getting popular with the YLNet or whatever, Ladies Night, you got to come up with the Maxine audio processor tailored to the female voice.
The Maxine Waters processor. Speaking of which, I guess this Saturday is supposed to be YLNet night, and yet it's the 4th of July, so there you go. Talk to some fine ladies and have the fireworks go off.
Oh, by the way, in the chat here, our young friend says, if you're looking for a board maker, you, Clark, should check out Electrospace in Topton, Pennsylvania.
Well, have him send me the link. I don't know where the boards are getting made now, but if he's got if he says that these guys are great, well, it's worth looking into.
What good is
it's not on for Saturday,
What good is using a board maker if the Chinese don't steal your design?
Well, maybe those guys in PA have some Chinese folks who work there.
What was that, Ken, about Saturday?
They're having it on the 13th, I think. It wasn't for this weekend. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. I think they rescheduled. And good evening. KC2UDZ.
Hello. It should be, they should wait for Friday the 13th. It could be the YL Horror Show.
They have a great time, man. Let me fix this thing. This thing's all whacked out.
All whacked out.
Ooh, yeah, I guess that's better. Anyway, good to hear you. I just happened to see you walking it back here, so I figured I'd key up.
Roger. Well, good to hear you on. Sounded good. Over here, and it's a beautiful day.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
What's going on? What's the frequency, Kenneth? Yeah. Turn things down. I don't know. Yeah, it was hot though. I was outside all day.
You know the background of that, Billy?
What, the REM song? Yeah, it's off Monster. I had that album when I was a little kid. I love that song. Oh, and Clark, if you got a pen and paper, he says that the link is esfinc.com.
esfinc.com. All right, I'll check it out.
W2 very weak. That's almost like EJF, Elmer J. Funk.
Well, W2BTK.
High quality precision sheet metal fabrication. Is this the right place?
I don't. It appears to be. Yeah, Electrospace. That's what he said. He said check them out.
He makes
video by,
all right, I'll check it out.
Modern English.
What?
Modern English did a lockdown video, COVID-19 video. All the old men got together and did I Want to Melt With You.
Oh my.
The 80s really weren't that good.
That was a good song. Come on. I Melt With You. That was an awesome song.
Oh, and Clark, he says, yeah, they made boards for their projects. So that's the place. That's the recommendation from the old Twitch stream there.
All right, well, the menu options here are cosmetic front panels, sheet metal fabrication, machined enclosures and boxes. That looks interesting. Frames, rack mount, card cages and chassis, VME products, and injection molding, and other. I'll check out other.
Perhaps you should email them. I don't know, but he says they made custom RPI boards for them. What's an RPI board?
Oh, Raspberry Pi. Come on.
Oh, Raspberry Pi. That's right. And yes, I was asking you guys that were on the air, the licensed hams on frequency.
Nice cover.
You know, Kenny knows that.
I know that. I got a 19-year-old living here that's updating my computer. We're going to go play, what are we going to play? That's right, we're going to play Grand Theft Auto in a minute.
Yeah, that's good. That teaches all kinds of good stuff. That's all subliminal messages you get. And then you get on the parkway. Vocational skills.
That's right. That's why I drive like I did. Negotiation skills.
So, Billy.
Yes?
Do you know the background to What's the Frequency, Kenneth?
No, I've just know the song and I enjoy the song. What is the background?
Oh, see, I wondered that. Yeah, so it's a non sequitur, and you just know it as that. Dan Rather, the CBS News night anchor that took over for Walter Cronkite, apparently was assailed, and some guy got in his face and started asking him, "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" You can look it up. There's more to it than that. There's probably people listening that know, and my phone's going to start blowing up. But that's what I remember.
I read that.
Did they ever answer the question of what Dan Rather do have or anything? What did Dan Rather?
He rather hated the Republican Party.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I've read that about that song before. I don't remember it either, what the particulars were.
And the other one they have is, should we talk about the weather? Hi. They're talking about ham radio. It's got to be, because all old guys going hi back in the day on phone. That's it. See, Kenny, you know stuff. You really do.
So?
I think it was a triple.
No, that was just a double.
Okay.
Bartender, make it a triple.
Clark, you gonna let him do that to you?
Oh.
You're missing like 20 fets in your rig, man.
Yeah, I prefer to take I prefer to take the low road.
Speaking of that, have I mentioned recently that AM Facebook sucks?
Yeah, you did, and it's true. AM Facebook sucks. For the reasons which we stated earlier in this QSO. W2 BTK on Montana Mountain. AM Facebook sucks.
AM Facebook sucks central. W2 very weak here on Beechwood Mountain.
Sounds like you guys
not even on Facebook.
Statues to feel better.
JBL.
Now that was a triple.
Okay.
Ending in L.
Watusi 2, Johannesburg, Botswana, Liberia.
Yeah, well, people do use those cutesy phonetics on the air, and it's like, why? Why? But they continue to do it.
Because somebody asked me ending with an L. Like a DX or a contest.
You hear people say that instead of Lima, they say lemur.
Lima.
Like switch there. What's up, Chris?
What a hell of a lot, Ken. I haven't talked to you in a while. I just came back from 3 weeks in the Adirondacks, which was absolutely sublime. And got up this morning bound and determined to get my 2001 Grand Marquis back on the road with a bad fuel pump. Banged on the sending unit with a rubber mallet, started it up, and backed it out of the garage. Now they can tow it to the shop to get it fixed.
I'll drop the tank, throw one in there, and get her done. You better get that car to the track soon. They're selling it.
Oh, no. Is the track open by you? Is ACO open?
I don't even know, but they're selling out just like Englishtown did.
I heard that they were done.
Lime Rock, April 25th. I gotta look. They've got my entry fee. I gotta look and see if it's been postponed or what.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna sell it. So, well, it's back to the streets.
Well, then you gotta come up here, northern New York City, man. You got Lebanon Valley. It's about an hour and a half from here.
Go to Island Dragway. They just had a big to do with the power company, but they're back and everything's cool, apparently.
Yeah, Albany's closer for me.
Chris, you're on frequency. What? It was like a constant in an ever-changing world that you would be down here nearer to me, but you're like on frequency. What the hell, man? I'm freaked out.
Who's on frequency?
You're like right on 3885. What?
What, this thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's always right on 3885. I'm driving it with an ICOM 718.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, this is the Johnson Kilowatt. I drive this thing on a race box, man. That's dead nuts on. Everything else I have is analog, but I still stay pretty close.
Oh, yeah, you haven't been running that thing the past few times I heard you on.
Because I was up at my other house in the Adirondack Mountains for the last 3 weeks using World War II vintage transmitters.
Good evening.
Right on. All right, gentlemen, have a good night.
Well, see you, Ken.
7-3s, Ken. Don't go away because I got bad breath.
Nah, the boys were talking later. They wanted me to join them in a game, so I will make it right because they're bored and they need something to do and they need somebody to shoot, to drive over, to they need a frag.
Oh, beat up on the old man. Okay, I'll have fun.
Yeah, it's nice talking to you, Kenny. That's good stuff. Keeps your reflexes fast too.
Yeah, I definitely need that, but yeah, no, it's fun. The kids enjoy it, so I'm gonna go do kid stuff.
Just remember, the one takeaway is that AM Facebook sucks. See you later.
Yeah, see you guys later. KC2, you guys later. I'm out of here.
WNY, good evening.
Hello. Good. Over.
Good. W2WNY, go ahead.
Well, I just figured, and I will hear you sound very good. Even on World War II equipment, you sound just as good.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was last 3 weeks. Yeah. Yay, I'm arcing over my Johnson. Whoop.
Uh-oh.
Are you upstate New York, or do I have the wrong person?
Chris will be right back.
Cue the, we need some, like, what do they call that? When the station goes off and they play the technical difficulties with, like, the little song, like, doot, 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 doot. What is that called? Like, the professional term.
That's called uh-oh. W2 very weak.
W2 BTK.
WNY, I think I'm on frequency now.
You might be.
Well, I know once I get the other piece running, the new VFL firmware, I'll be good to like 2 parts and 10 to the minus 10.
Wait, what?
Learning I could noise canceling mic and a couple other things there.
So one of the things I drive it from is a rubidium. So when I know I'm not cycle through that way. This rig I don't know about.
I'm a little drifty with my 1940s tube VFO, but that's fine. Y'all, can y'all hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. Doesn't matter what frequency we're on. Just for the fun of it.
I can hear you here, and I drifted down a little bit too. I might have to zero beat some more, but I don't have enough back wave. Are you strong guys in there? I don't know. Robert built your transmitters, and you ain't got enough back wave, because you're too strong.
Man, you better call your technician, Robert, get that thing back on frequency. I reckon the pre-net's about to fire up. You don't want to be a heterodyning and causing all, being all cattywampus on the AM mode.
Oh, wait, is there anybody in here with a Yankee in their call sign? Yankee, please?
Yes, we're taking check-ins. Anyone with a Yankee in their call sign, that is anyone with a Y, a Yankee. Yankee. Yankee in your call sign, please check in now. Anyone with a Yankee. Please check in with your Yankee call sign.
I gotta go over to the rack and zero beat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do that too. So, Chris, you're dead nuts. Just talk for a minute. I need like 20 seconds.
Oh, all right. You referring to me? WA2, WNY, ID. Testing.
All right. Hello?
Yeah.
Are you gonna check in to the pre-net there, Dave?
My Johnson Kilowatt again, which is set up to be same thing Chris is doing. It's set up to be excited by. Well, no, that's not going to fix my problem. Now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to drift all over the place.
I could go crystal controlled, but I'd probably end up on 3886.
Yeah, that's where I'd end up. Yeah, somewhere around here I have a 3885 Crapstle that's really on 3885. I gave a few of them away. I sold a few of them on eBay. People were paying big bucks for FT243 Crapstles. It's amazing. I sold one to Joe Walsh. So, yeah, here I am stuck with this Crapstle that's off frequency.
Yeah, well, you know, life's been good to me so far. What happened to Clark?
He's out there.
Hey, Clark, you want to finish our discussion of Radio Shack CB antennas from the 70s?
Hang on a second, I gotta bring up the tapes. It's gonna take a while to rewind them.
A K3FEF. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
I heard Radio Shack and I had to get on.
Wow. And then what makes you get off?
Radio Shack also. That's another story.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Who? Billy, I'm looking at your video thing there. You're like adjusting stuff. Like you're on fire, man. You okay? You going into work tomorrow, or you done for the? You gotta be done.
I'm done for the week, man. I'm hanging out playing radio. I'm trying to get like zero. I guess I finally did it. Like I'm right on 3885. It's hard to do, man. Like I don't have a very good setup for like putting myself on frequency.
Yeah, you got it. You already drifted off, but it's not that bad. And who cares?
I'm making micro adjustments here, man.
Anyway, welcome to our net, Mike. Did you hear the name of our net?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for it. I was in transition. I was outside. We just set up our cheesy little hillbilly swimming pool, and I was listening to you guys. And I said, "Oh, we got to get inside and get on the air." So I probably missed some conversation.
Oh well, yeah, we've got a net. We're official, and so we can reserve frequencies and all that stuff. You may have heard of. You may have heard it. Were you listening earlier?
No, I didn't. So what's the name of the net?
The Monotooth Net, and we're taking any call check-ins now. If you have a Yankee in your call sign, please check in first.
WA2 WNY.
And there we go, WA2 WNY. Welcome.
So is this a one-tooth net?
Man, ending in Yankee. That's great, man. Thanks. We needed that. We were really looking for a Yankee. Thank you.
What are you filling in there? The name is Rich, Romeo India Charlie Hotel, QTH is on New York, Iceland.
Well, we're taking check-ins for the Monotooth Net, and that's perfect. The call sign ending in Yankee. That's the best that we could have possibly hoped for. A nice call sign ending in Yankee.
I'm thinking special event. You know, W2 Yankee.
Kilo Delta Yankee.
Kilo Delta Yankee?
Kilo Charlie 2 Delta Yankee in Richmondville, New York.
Oh yeah, we've spoken before. Good evening, and thank you for having a Yankee in your call sign.
Could not pass up the opportunity to check into the Monotooth Net.
Well, now that there aren't going to be any more effective police in your neighborhood, what are you planning on doing over there in Queens? That's Staten Island. You know what? My GPS was stuck. The Koreans were jamming it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't have a police problem up here in the country.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
We're good. We've got sheriff deputies and state police, and we're good.
All that great Homeland Security money made Manhattan a beautiful place for a long time. And now?
Yeah. Well, living in the country is kind of hit or miss. See, I did the same thing. I'm in Jersey, but I'm up in like the farmlands, and we don't even have police. We got state police though, but you usually have to wait a while.
The state police take about 45 minutes to get to my house, and I don't mind because I can get a lot done in 45 minutes when I call them. But I keep telling all my friends, you got to get out of the city. It's getting bad. It's quite a circus over there. Don't get me wrong. I loved living in Queens for 40 years. Wonderful food, good friends, lots of fun. But at the same time, I love where I'm at now, and I would not go back. K3FEF.
And you like rocks. You ever see the rocks that are over there,
I've seen a lot of pictures of the FEF Radio Ranch, and I I believe so, yeah. I mean, it's just like there's rocks and all kinds of, it's nice up there.
Yeah, it's nice. It really is nice. Well, when you're going to put a septic system in, you have to actually bring in some dirt all the dirt to pump it up to the dirt. It's a little challenging as far as excavation goes, but other than that, it's great.
Oh, man. Speaking of that...
And I had to buy a Case 580 just to move things around here. We do get some pretty darn big rocks, but there are rocks everywhere. But that doesn't mean I can't get a decent RF ground.
Well, you don't need a decent RF ground. What 580 do you have? What's the suffix?
Oh, it's an old one. It's a 1986 Super A.
Yeah, I learned a 580C, which was old back in 1980. I think that was a 79 model.
Yep, my neighbor had the C. Actually, he passed away. I just sold it for his wife, sadly. But yeah, no, the C was a great machine too. The Super E, just a little fancier. You know, mine had a nice closed cabin with heat, and I got a CB in there. Oh, can I say that? And I got, my AM/FM stereo in there, so it's pretty cushy.
Yes, you can say CB. If you're a citizen, you're allowed to say CB here. W2VW.
That's right. We allow all sorts of stuff like that. You're allowed to talk about CBs here on the air. Like if you have a good transmitter and you can key up and talk to people and they hear you real well, you could say that stuff. But this, I guess, is the only place.
It's free speech. We don't censor stuff. CB, even though that we may have talked about CB in our lives in the past, and somebody found it on the internet and dug it up. Do as I say, not as I do. You did that on purpose, Blake.
Silence.
No, I didn't actually. Like 2 meters really said that and realized what I said, and then realized I'm kind of in the middle. Operate 11 meters. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that subject. But it's funny, I'm an easygoing guy. I don't bust anybody's horns about anything. Heck, I got started with CB. Big base station antenna up on the roof of my Queens, New York City apartment building. It was fun back in the day. And for people that still do it, it's probably still fun.
CB's good. That's where I got my start. I learned a lot of stuff. Like I was telling Clark, that the very first time I ever keyed up and came out here on 75 meters and talked to the AM crowd, I was running this rig that I'm running right now, and it sounded just like this. Therefore, I didn't learn how to put all that together and make it work and make it sound good on 75 meters. Where did I learn that? Citizens Band Radio.
Well, when you think about it, it's amplitude modulation, isn't it? So it's just about, are we being discriminatory against certain frequencies? That's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird. Anyway, W2 very weak because I like to identify a lot.
W2BTK on Montana Mountain.
There was a W1 trying to break in, but it was kind of light. W1. Last call for W1. Ending in Yankee. Yeah. Somebody wants to know what is Montana Mountain. It's a place where there are radials.
Yeah, old ones from the 70s, and they're dry rotting in the sun. Most of them are steel belted, and I truly believe that they are highly conductive, contributing to my propagation being better than it should be for what's going on.
I will agree with that. I mean, not that you're QRP or anything, but you do get out, when you compare the amount of power you're running to other people who are running more power than you, some of them a lot more, you get out just as well as they do. And then sometimes you get out better than they do. So I think you've got an outstanding location.
I do run QRP quite regularly and still manage to put some pretty strong S readings on people.
You know, it would be kind of funny. You've got the steel-belted radials, and I've got the big blocks buried in the ground as my anchors for my tower. Imagine if the two of them got together.
Dude, I'm pretty sure there's big blocks. Maybe not big blocks, but like definitely like large diesel motors and stuff, which I guess are big blocks. Scattered around. See, this place was a truck parts / scrapyard in the 70s, and there's all kinds of crap out in those woods. There's automobiles out in those woods. There's stuff in the ground. Like if you dig, you'll find like carburetors and this and that, like just like around, you know. So I think that's it.
Are there 60s and 70s cars and so on out in there, in them woods?
Yeah, pretty much. And all the radials they're like 60s and 70s vintage. Like there's like I could look out the window right now and see hundreds of white wall tires like in a pile right over there on the one end of my antenna.
Your property, vehicles are all on your property.
Not on my property. I only have an acre here, but surrounding me, yeah.
Would one be able to secure rights to pick that property and possibly remove entire vehicles?
Yeah, I mean, you could go out in the woods and probably have at it. I don't think it'd be that easy. My neighbor's been clearing out those tires and radials and stuff like little by little over the past year or two. And he does like a truckload every once in a while, which is not cheap.
Well, that makes it easier to get in there. Now you piqued my curiosity.
If you're interested.
After all that stuff gets removed, Billy, we won't even be able to hear you anymore.
I know, it's... But Chris, yeah, my neighbor was a huge salvage and truck parts, like, dude. Like, if you needed that stuff, you knew him and you came up here to the mountain.
Right, you had mentioned that, but I never heard you talk about cars in the woods or cars in a cow pasture or in barns or anything like that.
No, you walk out in those woods, you'll probably find a few automobiles.
I know where there's a bunch of MG midgets buried.
I could fit an MG midget in the trunk of my Impala.
What's that, Clark's house?
Thing about them, you can take them apart and stick them in your trunk.
Oh, serious. A while back, I saw one of those smart cars for sale in a parking lot, and I looked at it. You know what? That'll fit in the trunk of my Impala, and I measured it, and it absolutely would, nose first.
Well, why don't you want to?
Because I can.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of something to that because I can stuff.
I don't know. I took an entire Kawasaki K1000 motorcycle home in the trunk of my Pontiac Grand Am.
There you go.
I remember sticking a Ford 460 engine in the trunk of my 71 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
That'd be a good engine to put in a Caddy.
Why would you want to do that? I'd rather have a Caddy engine. It's got high nickel content. 460s had a lot of problems with carbon building up on the piston heads and stuff. That's an okay engine, but Caddy engine's a lot smarter.
Yeah, I know that. Well, anyway, yeah, slight arc over the problem. It seems in my absence, the guy that cuts my grass came and cut the grass, and the open wire line runs about 30 or 40 feet out into the front yard on driveway marker poles, tie wrapped to these fiberglass poles, and I guess at one point he must have knocked one of them down. He usually does around the open wire line, he does it with a weed whacker. But something happened, and he took the open wire line and just wrapped it, both conductors parallel to each other, 3 or 4 times around the driveway marker pole. So when I was having that crap out before, I looked out the window and saw a bright yellow light that was arcing over.
Isn't it nice to have a transmitter that you can make a bright yellow light in your yard and the transmitter doesn't even care?
Oh yeah, not the first time, not the first rig I've done that with, but yeah. I love the guy though that cuts the grass here. It was actually, it's kind of ironic, but he's a good friend. He was the landlord of the house I rented before I moved up here.
What kind of yellow lights you got out there, Dave?
OU2 very weak. It's good to have that kind of situation working, and yeah, man, get somebody that can do your lawn. I wouldn't want to do that by myself up there. It's just, not when you can get somebody to do it.
Yeah, big red-headed Viking dude shows up with a kick-ass pickup truck and a big zero-turn mower. And that's what he does. He's got a lot of, landscape grass cut customers. He's a retired cop. So, yeah. What the hell? I'm not even, for what he charges me to cut the grass, this is a lot of grass here. Mike's been here, he's seen it. I'm not going to say anything about the antenna.
Yeah, I get that.
Hey, Dave, you sound marvelous, by the way.
Really, you like my role? I was trying out a new profile here.
You sound marvelous.
Very natural.
Thank you, sir. That's nice to hear.
W2BTK.
W2JBL.
W2 very weak. I'm running a crappy old tube rig.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me 3.
Yeah, we should all go up on 10 meters, man. We'd hear each other.
Yeah, you know what? This thing doesn't splatter. At least people haven't told me I splatter, but those solid state rigs down there, man, they splatter like crazy.
Solid state rigs splatter? Since when?
Well, they're built under false premises from a questionable design.
That sounds suspicious, that those solid state rigs splatter like that. Are you sure that that's correct?
Yes, it's been known to happen on quite a few occasions.
Holy shnikes, Chris.
It doesn't make sense that anybody would splatter.
So, Bill, I'm not even hitting the base. I'm not even hitting 100% negative. What does this look like? Because I don't think I've ever run this transmitter like this.
You sound marvelous.
Sounds good.
Well, that was, I try to be a good neighbor, but that's with it, we'll say opened up, New England style.
I like that. You should do that. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, but I try to end at 6.3, and something tells me it's not.
No, it's not. But that was extremely enjoyable. Can we get back to the solid state stuff that we were talking about?
Well, it's specific designs, and only when operated improperly.
What do you suppose that could make a solid state rig sound like that?
Stupidity.
It's a combination of lack of basic engineering knowledge and a negative peak limiter, which the designer didn't tell anybody. Still produces square waves. It only does it at 90% negative.
Square waves?
That's unfortunate.
Actually, you know what? Jesus. I just opened up the receiver to 16. I monitor myself. I just opened the receiver up to 16, tuned off to, 16 is more like 18 in this receiver, and Jesus, there is a difference.
Yeah, that ain't half bad, man. It actually sounds pretty good. This is good daytime parameters. Save all those numbers.
It does sound good. Everybody sounds really good right now. I'm going to widen out and see what the hell's going on here.
I hadn't really tried this before. I had no idea Black Lives mod transformer was going to have this level of high frequency response. I've never swept this transmitter. Maybe it's time to do that.
Yeah, well, if you blow up your mod iron, you got almost identical one with different terminals on it, so what the heck?
You know what? I can't find a scrap of information on that thing, even though it's got an EFJ part number on it.
It's the same as what's in the it should be the same thing that's in the KW1.
I'll have to hook it up one of these days. It wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, well, I tried it out. I can tell you that it survives testing, so you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, hook it up. I think it's the same damn thing as what you have. It's just got a slightly different form factor.
Well, now I'm relieved. Thank you, because I didn't hear the tested part before. That's good to know. That's very good to know. That thing could end up. I keep looking at that 4x1. You saw that nice 4x1 deck on the in the shop, and you said plate modulated. It could happen.
Yeah, either that or just drama. Something in there with a little more dissipation than an old pickle jar tube from 1947, you know?
Well, here's the deal. If you've been keeping up, I'm getting a road cut into my camp up in the Adirondacks so I can get a vehicle right up to my back door. And besides making it easier to get my bear up the mountain and loose women, I can get bigger and more scroteful boat anchors up there. So I'm beginning to think about finishing that 4x1 off, maybe plate modulated in style, and running that from the North Country.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. There's nobody up in that area with a real signal anymore. It's been years. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. There's a lot of ways to attack it, you know? You like plate modulation, so that would be one of them.
Yeah, and aside from, obviously I have the transformer, but I also have parts and tubes to do the rest of it without a whole lot of effort. So that's what I'm looking at. Clear out the whole upstairs of the camp, move the ham shack upstairs, and really proliferate some bigger stuff. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking with that. So, thanks for the info on the transformer. Now I'm greatly relieved. W2JBL.
W2 very weak.
W2BTK. Hey, is there anybody that cathode modulates 3500s? I'd like to I don't know. I think that would cause a ruckus.
It's been done, and it is more efficient than linear. I think done right, it approaches 40-50%.
Oscar Hotel.
Hey, Dave.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all?
We're doing fine. Would you like to check into the Monotooth net? Even though you don't have a call sign with a Yankee in it, a Y, that's fine. You can check in.
Yeah, oh, it must be net nice. Okay, I get it. All right, hello, Billy. It was Chris and Mike in there, I think, right?
Yeah, hi, Dave. Hey, where is the mullet net tonight? I don't hear them, and I've been listening on here for quite a while.
There was some, I guess, I don't know, I heard a little bit of stuff that fired up right about the 1 hour and 30-minute mark of this QSO, but as of late, yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Well, radio's been good. There was no Eastern District Collins net last night. Our friend what's his name, Dave down there, K5VRX. He didn't lead the charge with the opening of the Collins net on 3880 last night. I was thinking about that. I said, what's going on? Because after I signed off, I signed off about 8:30 last night, 20 after 8. I could hear the Midwest and the West Collins AM in there, so it was running, but it looked like Dave wasn't around, and I thought about it, like, okay, KBW and LRY were on 3875, we were on 3880, and they would have opened on 3880. I guess we pulled the pincer movement on them.
WTVW, sorry about that, guys. I was out in the kitchen checking something.
Speaking of that, I will be right back. I got to go clean out my wine glass because it's time for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you've been working hard. You deserve it. Well, you're thinking of Roger, not Dave. Dave, maybe you're thinking of Dave Nepper. Man, yeah.
No, I meant Roger. Roger. Sorry. Hey, I'm getting old.
Well, it's okay, man. I was about to return your last email, but I had to do some other stuff, and I've been, today there was a situation going on where there were two TV transmitters on the same frequency, and one of them was supposed to not be there. Woo, yeah!
Oh, that's great. Oh, I think I retired from there, but, yes, I'm having to rescan. I rescanned the Adirondacks. I put up an antenna here. I can't get any. I'm 50 miles due north of Manhattan. I get nothing from New York City. Everything comes from Albany.
Have you tried rabbitears.com? You plug in you can plug in your lat longe exactly, I think, in the advanced search, and it'll tell you what you should be getting. And I'll give you an idea of what you should be getting.
No, I've been on FCC.gov, which is actually now pretty decent. But where I am, I'm blocked to the south, and it's due south to Manhattan. If they were on VHF, if those Manhattan stations were on VHF, I could probably hear them, because I can work George, N2LJO, who's down in a hole due south of here. I can work him on 6 meters, no problem at all. But, the Manhattan TV on UHF, it's not happening. That said, I ordered tonight from Newark an 8-element, 8 folded dipoles with a reflector, the big ass, the 3-foot square reflector antenna. I'm going to put that up there and see what happens.
I'm using one of those right now myself for UHF, and it works. I like that antenna. I think it's better than a lot of other antennas that I've tried. I've tried a lot of them over the years. W2 very weak. And it even works on high VHF pretty well. So there are a couple of VHFs in Manhattan. RF3, which I think is channel 31. I forget what the heck they are. They got into it with the FCC, so they're going back and forth. But they're same company that owns Asbury Park Press newspaper owns them. I think it's it's the inverse of PLJ, so it's WJLP. It's wine, juice, lemon, port instead of wine, port, lemon, juice. That's on RF3, and I think they're on 4 times square, which has got a pretty good stick. And RF channel 12, WNET, PBS, just moved like a few days ago to RF channel 12, so you've got to rescan to get them. And of course 7, WABC is on RF 7, so you've got a low V and a high and 2 high Vs, and 7's a flamethrower. They applied for increases in power. They're 6 dB over what they were licensed, and I think they still continue that. So they get out. That's an ABC mandate. All the ABC stations that were on VHF before the the big change and all that, they had a mandate that wanted to go back to their frequencies where they could. So you've got like RF6 in Philly is still on 6, and 7 in New York is still on 7 to this day.
Wow, I gotta really hit the head, but didn't know that. That sucks, actually, because that antenna that I ordered, that's UHF.
It doesn't suck as much as you think, because high VHF works fine there. I'm looking at high VHF from here. I'm 57 miles from the World Trade Center, and I'm looking at the high Vs with no preamp and 150 feet of cable.
By the way, it's not rabbitears.com. It'd be very hard to find that way. It's rabbitears.tv, because I got lost on the internet trying to find that one time.
You should put that link out. That is the best damn search engine for anybody trying to figure out what over-the-air TV they should get. The guy who runs that's got his stuff together. People bitch about the FCC not having real engineers. They don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rabbitears.info, not .tv. Okay, that's why I was all screwed up. Rabbitears.info. I'll put the link.
Sorry, I had to duck out for a second. Well, we'll see what happens when I get the big antenna, Dave. But I wasn't aware that many in Manhattan were, going back on VHF. We'll see what happens. Because, like I said, I'm blocked to the south. I'm going to buy another one of these antennas to put up at camp, because the nearest site is like 40 miles from there. Anyway, blah, 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 W2JBL.
Yeah, you have a way that you can listen to us while you're walking through your house?
Yeah, I can turn the audio up on the modified R390A with the big output transformer and the big speaker hanging on it. Well, yeah, it'll fill the house.
Yeah, man. W2VW. Well, okay, I understand you're going to be away from the switch, so we'll entertain you here. Yeah, man. So, Billy, I was thinking about speaking of JBL, I'm thinking about taking these JBLs down off the ceiling here and taking that PVCS 800 and shipping that on out to Tommy-san with the Valiant that he's going to be getting as a modulator. And I want to put all that audio gear from Empire that I have in place here. And the thing that freaks me out about it is that those speakers are all amplified speakers. So I've got to run power to them, and it's going to be physically away. I'm going to be doing the same thing that you had to do, debugging all those audio lines going everywhere. But I think I'm going to do that. I've got my reservations about going to a subwoofer where they put left and right into the same speaker, because I listen to a lot of 60s stuff. But I think I'm just going to do it just to get that older stuff out of here and hear it being used by somebody else who can enjoy it. Getting these big-ass speakers out of here, because I want to put some stuff where the 30S1 lives that's taller than the 30S1. Over.
Somebody doesn't like you, Dave. They're saying F you to you on CW.
Really? Imagine that. Well, I'm glad that somebody cares enough to program their gear.
Must be some. No, it's crappy straight key. Must be somebody south of the Mason-Dixon line trying to run a net.
Oh, yeah. Well, you should prove that you have CW skills, and that trumps everything on ham radio, especially procedure. So let's hear the guy on his call sign if he has a set. And if not, he doesn't have a set, and we know what we're dealing with. Over.
Well, let me see. Okay, yeah, that kicks butt. Yeah, Tommy-san, yeah, he needs that, and that That's really cool. You know how much I love that Genelex setup with that badass Grace Audio monitor controller. That is like top-notch. I mean, I drooled over that stuff when I was there. That is the nicest stuff. And you got 5.1. Man, you can have 5 antennas and 5 receivers now. And have like 5.1 QSB. Can you imagine? You gotta get that set up, and I know that you'd be able, if you did even have problems, and I think those Genelex speakers probably have awesome shielding and, you know, good bypass, all that stuff. They're studio monitors, you know, like they don't cheap out on that crap when they make those. So if you have problems with them, I'm pretty confident you would be able to like fix it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm throwing this at you because you're an experienced audio engineer and you know your stuff, man. So thank you, and I'll feel better while I'm tearing into all this stuff. And things will go wrong, and I'll get disgusted, and I'll just get on FT8 for a month.
Well, listen, I have a similar monitor controller here, and it's like, you know, a higher-end studio deal with different sets out. It's like the same thing as your Grace, but it's made by PreSonus, so it's even cheaper. And I have zero problems with that, man. I use it to route all my audio around. Audio that goes to the stream, the stuff that goes to my... you know, what I'm listening to on my monitoring rig, my FT8 goes through there. It all goes through there, and I have zero problems with it. And heck, if you can use a solid state, decent pro audio power amp as a modulator, why the hell would the power amps in those